Few hours ago, I got a notification on Twitter, and it was about this dude who set himself on fire across the street from a courthouse. I think it was the Manhattan City Courthouse that Trump was having his hearing at. And obviously, there is a lot of coverage on this topic. And I've been looking over like the news clip, not clippings. I don't have a newspaper in front of me. But I've been watching the articles that are on YouTube from like Fox and ABC and all of them. But what was interesting was like watching the police interview, like the press conference that they did was interesting because people kept asking, well, what are y'all gonna do to make sure that this area is safe? And they didn't really have an answer because they were like, well, this area isn't really under strict supervision because it's open to the public. And they felt like they got there within a reasonable amount of time, which I don't work in that job. I can't say what is a reasonable amount of time for situations like that. Uh, but it was interesting because like we keep hearing about a manifesto, like he threw up papers before he set himself on fire. And they were talking about all these Ponzi schemes and stuff. And you can go onto his Instagram, and last month he posted some something with like 10 slides with like pages and pages of exactly what he saw as wrong with, I guess, society, our government, how our government is impacting society with what they are allowing out information wise, and whether or not it is accurate. And but this is all stuff that I have heard before. It's all stuff that I have heard in little bits and pieces here and there, like, oh, well, the government really doesn't want what's best for us and kind of pits us against each other. Um, and it sounds like he just heard so much of it, and it all added up to it seemed like he thinks that we are being set up and led into the next Great Depression. And it was obviously so heavy on his heart that he felt like the only way to get people to take notice of it was to set himself on fire in a public area where there was already lots of media. And it is sad, and granted, he probably could have reached a lot of people with his message anyway without having to go to those extremes. But it raises the question about like hysteria and how much of our media is causing hysteria and how much social media is influencing that. Because, like, you can even, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at expressing what I'm thinking. But, like, you can see examples of people just taking shit and running with it. Like, you see people on TikTok who watch people who have Tourette's, and then all of a sudden they are showing signs of Tourette's. And maybe it's for attention, and maybe it's they're seeing this and they're like, I have that. Or I can resonate with what that person is experiencing. And so maybe that's exactly what I have. And maybe it's hysteria, maybe it is um, being a hypochondriac, but they all kind of paint themselves very similarly to me. And I just thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't mean this to be a disrespectful conversation, and I understand that some people would probably see it as such. Um, and I don't think it was a right way to go about doing things to draw attention to his cause. But it is what it is, and it has already passed. So, what do you guys think?